Okay, Dave and Jennifer back here at the Observatory in Washington Crossing State Park. Members of the Amateur Astronomy Association of Princeton. We're here doing some recording. Right now we're on Saturn. This is kind of like what you would see in the eyepiece. So let me make this a little bit bigger so that you can see what we're doing. So this is about what you would see in the eyepiece. You know it's Saturn because it's got the rings, but with our camera I can kind of zoom in on it and drag it around the screen. Now, as I was explaining when we were looking at Jupiter, it's hard to get the planet's exposure right in a a single frame grab kind of a thing. You've got the atmosphere against you and all that good stuff. But you can kind of see the division, the shadow right in here. The ring, this part of the ring is in front of the planet, and this one is behind it. We're actually looking at the northern hemisphere, and if conditions are just right, you can kind of see that there's a band, a dark band, just inside the outer edge, which is called the Cassini division. That's where something has wiped out, there's very little of the ice particles in that part of the ring. From Earth, we can kind of see not only the Cassini division, but there's another one which is we can't tell right now, the Encke division, if I got that pronunciation right. So, do you have anything to say before I talk about we do the exposure for the moons?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I'm going to change the exposure to show the moons because at 17 milliseconds you don't get to see the moons. So let's bring it up to, I think we did like, let's try 10 seconds first and see if they pop out. Now obviously the planet has gone. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, let's not go any further. Planet has gotten way overexposed. But doing this, we can get the moon. I think we might need a little bit more. I think we did up to 17. Let's try 15 seconds and see if that gets all of our moons. We were trying to name them earlier. And open up our app here. Sky and Telescope put out a really neat, two really neat apps, one for Jupiter moons and one for Saturn moons. So if we've got our orientation right, I'm pretty sure this one's Titan. We're pretty sure this one is Rhea. We are pretty sure this one is Tethys. We're pretty sure this one's Dione. We think this is a star. And the other ones out here aren't showing up yet. These are stars here. Let's pop this up 1 or 2 more seconds here and see if we get the other ones popping in. We think we saw Iapetus and Hyperion out here somewhere. Any day now. Up. No, needed to be longer. This will probably really blow it out. 20 seconds is a long time when you're waiting for it. Let's try doing that maybe. Anyway, we think these, maybe these, yeah. We're thinking this one's Iapetus, right? Yeah. And we're thinking that one is Hyperion based on the configuration that's shown in our Saturn. There you go. Okay, so yeah, you can see the planet's blown out, but these are the two that fit the best description. Everything else seems to be stars. Once again, this one we believe is Titan. This one we believe is Rhea. I think we blew out Tethys. And Dione probably is this one. And then we're pretty sure this is Iapetus and Hyperion. So, anything you want to mention about the moons, or other than just the orientation?
Just wanted to mention about Titan. Cassini did many radar scans of the surface of Titan. Titan actually has hydrocarbon lakes in its northern hemisphere, sand dunes, hydrocarbon sand dunes in its southern hemisphere. And when the Huygens probe broke through the clouds and finally you got to see the ground, you could see places where hydrocarbon rivers had flowed and delta areas and stuff like that. Enceladus is also interesting in that it has what are called tiger stripes only at its south pole, and those are spewing out actual water from underneath the ice covering Europa. And they did detect organics in, which would be carbon type chemicals in these plumes of gas, and those plumes make up the Saturn's E ring. So Enceladus alone is responsible for its own ring. And they didn't know any of this.
If you like it, you better put a ring on it. Oh, sorry.
And they didn't know any of this before we sent the Cassini spacecraft to Saturn for all those years. And we learned a lot of stuff.
We're still
a lot of information.
Still working on that data.
Yeah.
So this is Saturn, best we can do for the moment. And we'll pick another object and we'll be back.